Myth 18 is wrong. Not believing conspiracies doesn't make you naive or brainwashed. Belief choices come from trust, what you've seen, and the ordinary rhythm of daily life, not from a single mood swing. In this video, we'll pull apart why people latch onto stories, how labeling others as gullible helps no one, and how to tell solid claims from flashy headlines in plain terms. From a noisy family chat to a late-night scroll, we've all seen how easy it is to fall into a conspiracy loop. We'll share simple, everyday tools to check claims without turning every conversation into a debate battlefield. Plus, a dash of humor to remind us that not every mystery is a villain with a secret handshake. If you've ever felt torn between chasing the truth and dodging misinformation, you're in the right place. Hit play to get practical tips you can actually use right now in your daily scroll. Unpacking the claim. The assertion ties a person's stance on conspiracies to two labels: naive and brainwashed. It treats belief or disbelief as a simple switch rather than a spectrum shaped by information, context, and emotion. That framing rests on the idea that all major events have a single, easily explained cause. In reality, people look at different pieces of evidence, weigh them, and sometimes end up in different places without being gullible or forced. It also relies on the assumption that those who doubt conspiracies have never checked the facts. But many people do examine sources, compare notes, and still come to cautious conclusions. Labeling someone shields the speaker from messy questions and turns a debate into a verdict. Slogans like naive or brainwashed tend to close doors instead of opening them. In real life, people form beliefs by mixing news, stories from friends, and gut feelings. The mix can be noisy, and the loudest voice often seems to own the truth, even when the signal is weak. That's when a casual remark about brainwashing slips in and hijacks conversation. A coworker might say, "You can't trust them, they're brainwashed," and suddenly the issue stops being about evidence. Disbelief in a conspiracy is not the same as blind faith in everything. Some people are skeptical by habit and want more proof, not a shiny headline. They might flag inconsistencies in a story, ask for sources, and still follow credible outlets. That doesn't mean they reject all alternatives. It means they test claims and look for independent sources. Mistakes happen on every side, and jumping to a label makes it harder to learn. Humor helps here. Imagine blaming someone for not swearing allegiance to every rumor you come across just to feel seen. Ask clear questions instead of tossing labels. What specific claim are we evaluating, and what would count as solid evidence? Share careful sources in plain language. Explain why they matter, and be willing to change your mind. Treat it as a conversation, not a courtroom verdict. If someone calls you naive, stay curious. Ask for the reasoning behind that label, and offer room to grow. Conversations like this don't require winning a battle. They invite learning. Why people believe things. People believe things to make sense of a messy world. When things feel uncertain, a clear story, even if it's not perfect, can feel like a stable map you can follow. That map often comes from trusted friends, familiar faces, or the feeds you scroll every day. We mistake certainty for safety, and certainty travels fast in a busy world. Stories spread because they're social. If a friend shares a theory and others applaud, you feel pulled to join the chorus. But the same mechanism that makes a joke go viral can push a rumor into your head. It's easier to repeat something you heard than to chase down all the sources. Your brain likes shortcuts, a bias that makes you notice facts that fit what you already think and overlook the rest is common and natural. The availability heuristic makes dramatic stories feel true because they pop up in memory after you see them. Emotions ride along. Fear, anger, and hope can make any claim feel urgent. All of this happens without bad intent, just brain wiring doing its job, which is usually trying to protect you from surprises. What can you do if you want to see through the fog? Ask for the evidence behind a claim and look for independent sources. Check whether the same facts appear in more than one place and see if experts weighed in. Pause before sharing and think about how the claim was put together. Talk with people who disagree, not to win a fight, but to test your own thinking. If you're unsure, It's okay to sit with a doubt for a while. Naivety versus inquiry. Facts often show that people handle extraordinary claims in different ways. Some see conspiracies everywhere, while others require solid evidence before they accept something beyond the everyday. Naivety is a tendency to accept a story without testing it, to glide past questions, and to prefer a simple, dramatic explanation. Inquiry, by contrast, means actively testing ideas, asking for proof, and weighing what different sources say. In real life, you can spot the difference in how people react to a claim about a mysterious plot behind a news item. One person might share a sensational post and move on, while another person stops to check the source, read what experts say, and think about what would count as proof. Naivety often hides in plain sight as quick acceptance of a story because it's easy to digest. An inquirer, on the other hand, pauses to ask clear questions. What exactly is being claimed? Who would benefit from this claim? And who might be harmed? What evidence would convince you? And what would disprove it? A practical example shows the divide. A claim that a health product can cure a wide range of problems with no side effects might be tempting to believe after a single glowing testimonial. An inquirer would want to see tests, ingredient lists, and independent reviews before even considering trying it. A little humor sneaks in here when you picture that one friend who wants you to just try it, while another friend asks for the ingredients and a lab report like a grocery list. Inquiry is not cynicism, and it isn't about tearing down every bold idea. It's a way to treat ideas as proposals to be tested. Start with simple checks. Where does the claim come from? And is there a second, reliable source that repeats it? Look for corroboration from people who aren't trying to sell you something. Notice if the language uses a lot of fear or certainty, or if it implies a secret knowledge that only a chosen few possess. It helps to pause before sharing something online, ask for a link, and consider what would count as solid proof in a kitchen table conversation. It's natural to feel pulled toward a story that fits what you already think, but curiosity beats impulse when you want to find what's true. Labeling someone as naive for not embracing every conspiracy can shut down dialogue, while a mindset of inquiry invites conversation. Someone who questions claims can be mistaken too, and that's okay. The goal is to test ideas, not win arguments. If you approach discussions with questions, you give space for other perspectives, and you reduce the heat that comes with hot takes. In daily life, that means sharing credible sources calmly, asking clarifying questions, and being willing to revise your view when new, trustworthy information arrives. People often converge on clearer truths not by shouting louder, but by choosing to examine evidence together, with a little patience and a touch of humor along the way. Information filters and algorithms. Information filters and algorithms shape what you see online in real ways every day. Algorithms are behind-the-scenes rules that decide which posts rise to the top, which videos get recommended, and which headlines show up first. Filters are the gates that decide what content makes it into your feed at all. They're not bad on their own, but they're tuned for one thing: keeping you engaged. That means more time scrolling, not more truth. When you do something once, the system notices. If you click on a conspiracy video, the next recommendations lean towards similar stuff. If you skim past it or ignore it, you'll still see some of it at first, but the system starts testing new angles to win you back. It's easy to joke about the algorithm knows me better than first know myself, but there's real logic here. Your online world becomes a little echo chamber made from bits and clicks, and you didn't even need a secret club to get in. This doesn't prove who is naive or brainwashed. It shows how information ecosystems can tug belief in different directions without anyone admitting a bias. Some people end up with a wide mix of sources and still don't buy into wild theories, while others get deeply into one lane because the feed keeps nudging them that way. The message isn't that one side is pure and the other is lost. It's that the tech around us nudges perception in subtle, everyday ways. It's easy to blame a person for missing the other side, but the mix of what's shown and what's hidden matters just as much as what's said aloud. So, what can you do to see more clearly without blaming the person next to you? Start by mixing sources on purpose, not just scrolling until you hit confirmation. check a few mainstream outlets. Then look for independent reporting from different angles and verify big claims with trusted fact-checkers. Try browsing in a way that isn't tailored to your latest clicks. Private mode or a separate account can reveal what a less personalized feed looks like. Give yourself time to read, not just skim, and compare what you read with primary sources when possible. And keep in mind that filters and algorithms are not moral judges. They're clever data tricks that shape perception as much as any argument does. Social power of conspiracy narratives. Conspiracy narratives spread through everyday conversations and online feeds, thriving on simple, emotionally charged explanations. They spread most where trust in public institutions feels shaky. A post that promises a hidden truth can feel like a secret unlocked just for you. People like a sense of belonging, and sharing a tidy story makes them feel part of something bigger. A little humor about a grand hiding place can keep the chatter going and give the group a shared vibe. These stories wield social power by forging in-groups and marking others as outsiders. Claiming insider knowledge signals loyalty to a community that values skepticism. The narrative offers a sense of control in a world that feels noisy and unpredictable. Conversations shift from facts to loyalty tests, and people are rewarded for sticking with the story. If trust in institutions collapses, the social payoff of the conspiracy becomes even larger. Disbelief can be treated as a fault within some circles. Saying you don't buy the conspiracy may invite jokes or social pressure. People may be labeled naive or brainwashed not because they lack facts, but because they challenge the group's shared tale. Social power here comes from peer validation. The loudest voices set the tone. Counter-narratives can feel like an attack on the group's identity, not just on the facts. In real life, a neighbor who questions a viral post might be told to open their eyes and may get shut out from the conversation. To navigate this, pause before joining a claim and ask of benefits. Check sources and look for a range of voices in plain language. Explain your view in a calm way and invite questions, not derision. Keep humor gentle and avoid turning disagreement into a personal attack. The social power of conspiracy narratives lives in the felt sense of belonging, control, and trust they offer, even when the facts are fuzzy. Cultivating healthy skepticism. Healthy skepticism means judging claims by evidence rather than leaping to verdicts based on vibes. If something sounds dramatic or unusual, you pause and ask where it came from, what proof is offered, and who would gain from spreading it. That approach sits between gullibility and cynicism. It keeps your thinking honest rather than letting a neat story sweep you away. Yes, reality can be messy, like a coffee spill on a white shirt. Practical steps help make skepticism healthy. Start by checking the source. If it reads like a rumor from an anonymous post, look for independent reporting from credible outlets. Cross-check with at least 2 trusted sources. Ask for concrete details you can verify, such as clear claims, simple test results, or specific names to contact. If the evidence feels thin, treat it as a question, not a conclusion. For a claim about a miracle remedy, search for medical reviews or official health sites. If you can't find credible tests, you're not blocking fun ideas, you're just being careful. Your inbox won't miss those unsubstantiated headlines either. Humility helps here. Admit you don't know and say you'll look into it, which keeps conversation open instead of turning into a debate stage. Try small checks first. When you see a post about a big plot, scan for clear evidence. Look if experts weigh in and compare with trusted sources. Bias is natural, but spotting it is doable. A simple rule helps. Pause before sharing. Ask what evidence backs the claim and whether there are credible sources you would trust. That habit slows the spread of nonsense and keeps friendships intact. Practice makes this easier. Make verification a tiny daily habit. Click, compare, and decide, not react. It saves time later. If someone pushes a conspiracy, you can respond with curiosity, not accusation. Tell me what evidence you have. First, we'll check it with reliable sources and get back to you. Or you can just say, thanks for sharing, and walk away. Healthy skepticism isn't about denying every mystery. It's about living with uncertainty while still seeking trustworthy information. And if a claim survives careful checks, you've earned a quiet badge of curiosity, not a badge of certainty. Bottom line, not believing in conspiracies isn't the same as being naive or brainwashed. People come to different conclusions for a lot of honest reasons. What sources they trust, how new information fits with what they've seen in real life, or just how much time they've spent digging into a topic. Skepticism can be healthy, as long as it's paired with checking the actual evidence instead of clinging to a label. If you've ever found yourself doubting a wild claim, or on the flip side, heard someone say, "If you don't believe, you're stupid," you're not alone. Real life isn't black and white, and thinking clearly often means balancing doubt with evidence, not with outrage. For example, you might question a sensational headline, then take a moment to look up the original sources, read a couple of reputable outlets, and see what the experts say. It's not about winning an argument. It's about understanding what's actually true and what's just loud. If this resonated, drop a comment with a claim you've checked lately and how you verified it. First, I'd love to hear your process or any hurdles you've run into when evaluating information. Like this video if you found it useful, subscribe for more calmer, clearer takes, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next one. In the next videos, we'll break down simple steps to verify claims fast, spot biased sources, and practice having respectful conversations about tricky topics. We'll keep it practical, with real-life examples and a bit of humor along the way.